The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning. Welcome to another edition of D-Link's series of webinars. Today we're going to be once again talking about Nuclias, but what we're going to do today is slightly different to the more technical stuff we've talked about in the past, is just have a chat about some of the success cases that we've had with Nuclias, how we've seen success selling Nuclias to the various vertical markets, and have a little bit of a reminder about the MSP incentive program, which we've recently installed. So today's going to be slightly different. It's going to be much more of a sales-led presentation. So I have with me today D-Link's UK&I country manager, Paul Routledge.
Hello.
Say hi, Paul.
Hello.
and D-Link's sales manager, Mark Carty. So we're going to go through a bit more of a sales-led presentation, as I said, and talk a little bit more about the successes and the vertical plays and how D-Link and Nuclias can fit in around those verticals. A few solutions for you guys out there today. So I'm going to stop waffling now. I'll hand over to Paul, who's going to drive most of this, and you'll probably hear me towards the end. Send through your questions as normal. The questions tab is towards the bottom of the handout there. Just type any questions you have in there for Paul and Mark, and I'll come back in at the end and ask those questions. So I'll now hand over to Paul, who I believe is going to start off.
Thank you, Alan, and thanks for the intro. So, as Alan mentioned, today we'll discuss the Nuclias network management platform from D-Link and look at how Nuclias can help you attract new customers and secure additional revenue from any existing clients as well. Alan mentioned Mark Carty's with us, so Mark is one of our channel account managers. Welcome, Mark, and again, thank you, Alan and Mark, for your inputs. So, if we start to look at sorry, Alan, my slides are not transitioning. Got it now. Thank you very much. So,
no problem, Paul. Sorry.
We should have practiced that one. So, Nuclias from D-Link, an easy-to-use, scalable platform for managing your customers' network from anywhere, anytime. Great offering. And now more than ever, that ability to be able to manage customers' networks from anywhere at any time is more and more important. And we're talking about any size of network here. So anything from a single site customer. I'm actually using a Nuclias AP in my home office to provide wireless stuff. I'm presenting this over. So anything from that real small home users through maybe small retail outlets, coffee shops. I mentioned residential applications. If I look at some of the case studies we've got some very large installs as well. So large schools. So I'm talking over 50 access points, hundreds of users. So a real scalable solution. One of the main points is again this it's a cloud platform, but we give you the choice really. So you can choose how to manage your customers' networks. So could be in the cloud using Nuclias Cloud. Could be on your premises, so you can host Nuclias on your premises with Nuclias Connect, or even it can be hosted on your customer's site with the Nuclias Connect hub. Whichever of those you choose, as an installer, you can manage those networks from anywhere at any time. So pay as you go. So we talk about you only pay for what you need now. You can expand as and when that demand is needed. There's no need to start with a huge investment. Again, very, very important at the particular time. And what that does, it creates an ongoing service relationship with your customer. So rather than just a one-off purchase type relationship, it creates an ongoing service relationship with your customers. So something that you can build on as time goes on. You can build on that service relationship and build on revenues with that customer base. Just looking at the features now of Nuclias. One that I'll kind of zoom in on straight away: social logins. So making it much easier for for customers to log in, for you to give permissions for your customers to be able to log in, to be able to manage the solutions, for users of the Wi-Fi to be able to log in via their Facebook accounts or whichever social logins they want to use. Traffic and data analysis. So automatic monitoring and alerts, so that you can keep your customers updated on the health and available capacity on their network. Over the web firmware upgrades, again, really important, particularly at the current time, meaning that you don't need an engineer on site to upgrade firmware, saving you the cost of an engineer, and also ensuring safety for your staff and for your customers' staff as well. So a real good point that. Over the web firmware upgrades. Same with zero touch deployment. So zero touch. What we mean by that Nuclias access points and switches are designed to be provisioned and activated off-site. So as an installer, you can provision, you can activate those access points at your site, load all of the customer settings that that you've agreed with your customer. Then send those access points, send those switches out to your customer. Customer's just got to plug that product in to a port on the network, as long as that network's connected to the internet. Then you as an installer can see that product, can see the access point, can see the switch, and you can start to manage that remotely. So again, there's no need to send a customer out. There's no need to send an engineer out on site, out to your customer's site. You can do that provisioning from anywhere you are. Anywhere in the world. And again, I mentioned I'm running on a Nuclias AP here in my home office. So when this whole lockdown started, our engineers in the office configured an access point, sent it to me. I literally plugged it into my router, plugged it into some power, up and running. Everything's working. They can monitor everything that's happening on my small network at home. But it means that we've got more as a business. We've got more control over our business data. So over the web firmware upgrades and zero touch deployments, really interesting, especially at the moment. Sorry, Alan.
Yeah, and I have to say, Paul, as you well know, it has 100% improved your connection when you're on video chats. When Paul used to come on, he would be a little bit blocky, pixelated, and freeze. And since you've moved over to the Nuclias AP, I have to say that your signal is 100% better on the video calls. So.
Well, I'm not fighting for bandwidth anymore with the PlayStation and smart TVs and iPads and everything else that's in the house. But anyway, that's just a view of my house. Sorry. Another key point: role-based administration. So that means that you as an installer, you can set admin rights for your customers if so desired. So that meaning that your customers can make amendments if necessary. So, making those local amendments where necessary. And all of this is managed by a real easy-to-use web-based interface. Again, you can access it from anywhere at any time, as long as you've got access to the internet. I'm just giving you a view of that interface. So this is just a small network that actually this is a small network that I think that we're using for to monitor my access point at home, Mark's access point at home, and and a couple of other guys in the team as well. So it gives you instant view of the health of the network. What's happening on the network. You can plug in maps there as well, so you've got a physical representation of where your networks physically are, and gives you detailed statistics and reports. So a nice, easy, clear view.
Muted. Unmuted.
Sorry, I think I was muted there at one point. Sorry. So on to the next slide, just looking at security. Mark, if you can give us your thoughts on security.
So with the D-Link Nuclias platform, we ensure that all communication between the administrator's browser and the Nuclias cloud server is encrypted. So all communication between the cloud server and the Nuclias devices are secure via or secure over SSL. One thing that we are ensuring on is the encryption of things like access points. And all of our newest access points are shipping with things like WPA3 security, meaning that your devices are as secure as they can be. It's a very good proposition when you're talking to your customers about security, because security is very important today within schools, within businesses, and especially within your home with the threats that are out there.
Thank you.
I'll hand back over to you. That's all right.
So just to touch again on this zero-touch deployment. So as we mentioned earlier, I'm using a Nuclias access point here, and if I look at a lot of the most recent installations of Nuclias, one of the key points of upgrading wireless networks in schools over the past few months, and and the help we've done, or the help we've given to some retailers, getting ready for for the opening, is being able to, or our installers being able to provision that hardware on site. So at the the installer's site, activate, enter your license key into the Nuclias cloud account, provision, download your pre-configured device, download those settings. Being able to do that again at the installer's site, sending that piece of hardware out to wherever that end user site is, simply connect that, be it an access point or a switch network, connect that into your existing network. If it's a PoE network, then it's as simple as one cable, from a PoE or power over Ethernet port on a switch into the access point. Leave it a couple of minutes, it's up and running. My own experience with using a Nuclias access point, our guys in the office had set it up with the same SSID that we use in the office, same password that we use in the office. So once I saw that SSID, I could just double click on it, and I was up and running within 5 minutes. So it was that simple. And then once it's set up, and now that I'm set up, my network can be maintained and monitored from anywhere by our team. So you as an installer can offer that service to your customers. Again, no need to be on site. It's up to you if a customer does want you to be on site. Maybe running a site survey first, but no need to be on site to be able to get a Nuclias network up and running. Mark, if we could have a look at some of the success stories, some of the places where we're seeing Nuclias really being a success.
Yeah, so with cloud networking, that what we sort of see within organisations, whether it be schools and business and things like that, we see cloud networking helping to drive an evolution, really. It's to give your customer the ability to get the latest technology, on-demand technology, and allow them to sort of get access to some of them services. And we see this as a way of them reducing spend, getting that access to the sort of latest access points and things like that. We also see it as a way that customers can help with the data protection, because it's hosted by D-Link, or the Nuclias is hosted by D-Link, and we spend a lot of resource and time ensuring the protection or ensuring the security of that. And then we also see it as a way of the customers spreading the cost. So you're moving over from what we say an OPEX model, a CAPEX model, to what we say an OPEX model. And it's just there to spread that cost through things like licensing and things like that. The one advantage of cloud networking is that people out there are already using cloud services such as Dropbox and Google, things like Facebook. and they're already secure platforms. With Nuclias, we want to be that secure platform to give your customers the way, or to give your customers the service that they need. Some of the challenges within education that we see are that classrooms and schools are getting more and more devices connected to their wireless networks, from things like smartboards and tablets. And the pupils spend more time engaging with technology. And so these are the guys that are driving the need for the latest networks. These are the guys that are driving the need for the latest switching networks within schools. Some of the challenges that we see within education are limited IT budgets, and it means the reduction, unfortunately, of some staff within schools. So there is nowadays not specialised, or sometimes there's not specialised teachers that understand the networking. And with things like Nuclias, with the cloud, you can outsource that to somebody that can help manage your network. Schools' budgets, we always know that these things are under review, and sometimes these are very strained. Tight budgets mean the school needs to have a look at dedicated technology or applications that are going to help them. On the screen here is a typical example of what we see within schools. So you see segmented Wi-Fi, so that students will need their own network, staff, and then you get a guest access. Things like a reliable, strong, robust network. We can offer some very high density access points on there, but also these guys haven't got the time, because if a network or an access point goes down, they need to be able to quickly resolve that. And using Nuclias will allow the administrator to log on wherever they are and be able to see the issues within the network and correct them immediately. Hospitality, whether you've got a hotel chain or a chain of cafes, this sector really struggles to deliver what we would say a reliable or a consistent Wi-Fi network. Hotels can be made or broken by very bad Wi-Fi. I mean, from my personal experience, and I think Paul can probably contest to this as well, if a hotel has bad Wi-Fi, we probably won't stay there again. So given things like Nuclias, and if you've got multiple sites, you can put multiple access points within a chain of hotels and manage multiple sites together. That way you reduce the number of IT staff to a limited number of trained personnel, and then that way you can segregate your staff and your guest networks and limit access where needs be.
Sorry, Mark. I'll attest. I certainly have written some reviews on TripAdvisor about bad Wi-Fi in hotels, especially as I usually spend a lot of my life in hotels.
So what Nuclias offers for hospitality is things like zero-touch provisioning, and it just means that we can extend or replace the existing network fairly quickly, but we can also increase the efficiency on this. More users or more people connecting to the Wi-Fi network, no problem. We can get a couple of extra access points to cover the demand. Guest Wi-Fi can be branded with the brand of the hotel or the chain, and you can get things like social media integration on there. So you can push the customer towards the Facebook page for likes and for recognition on that. Access points can provide multiple Wi-Fi networks, as we've mentioned. So you've got your guest networks on there, so you can have ordering or POS systems separate from the guest network. And then we've got the wireless switches, or the cloud switches, sorry, that can provide the wide connectivity for greater flexibility out there, just meaning that we've got a range of PoE and non-PoE cloud managed switches that you can remotely access, you can remotely deploy, and you can remotely manage when and how needed. Again, this is just a little example of what we have and how what we see a typical deployment of a small hotel there. But what we want to do is help hotels or restaurants and theme parks to get a secure, reliable Wi-Fi network to their guests. We want it to be budget friendly. We want it to be what the customer needs, but at the same time, we want it to be easy to manage, because at the end of the day, some of these organisations haven't got time to spend hours and hours playing or tinkering with this. They just want it to work. And I think that's one of the most important things out there, is when an organization outsources their Wi-Fi or their IT, they just want the access to work, whether it's at 2 o'clock in the morning, whether it's easy to connect. You just want it to work, and that's one telephone call away from your integrator.
Thank you, Mark, for a bit of overview there of education and the hotel sectors. So Nuclias for retail, very current. Most of the UK retail outlets open for business yesterday, and moving forward, customer experience is going to be key to the ongoing growth for those hard hit retailers. And as Mark said, similar to education, similar to hotels, retailers don't have the time for deploying networks. They're focused on improving, your customer experience so that you come back and you buy more, from those retailers. So as an installer at the moment, I think it's more important than ever to offer a stable, secure Wi-Fi access for your customers, so that they can, again, help the whole shopping experience, or improve the overall shopping experience for their customers, as well as promoting products and special offers through a customizable guest Wi-Fi within retail. So Nuclias is the perfect centralized management solution to give your retail customers a better shopping experience while staying connected. Moving on to small and medium businesses. The lifeblood of our economy. And again, one of the sectors that's been very hard hit over the past few weeks. As with retail, these businesses need stable, secure networks. But again, as with retail, in most cases, they don't have the expertise or the manpower to keep their network at the level they need. So again, Nuclias enables you as an installer to support your SMB customers, delivering the convenience of an enterprise-grade network. With Nuclias from D-Link, you can remotely manage the networks of all of your local SMBs. And again, back to that zero provisioning point. So that ensures that you can deliver an enterprise-grade network, in most cases, without even having to be on site. And again, let's not forget that SMB customer only has to buy what they need now. Not just SMB customers, all customers. With Nuclias, you just buy what you need now. So even down to a single access point. So that helps them to deploy the network they need without compromising cash flow. And again, that's going to be something really, really important as a country, our economy starts to grow again. And then final one, just looking at the different kind of applications. Nuclias for remote working. That's not an image of me. I think the hair's a little bit darker than mine there, Alan. I think you'd agree with that. But again, Nuclias for remote working. It's clear that remote or home working is likely to be part of our working week for a good period of time to come. And for some of us, it might even be the long-term plan. Organisations deploying their workforce from home for the long term really need to provide secure, stable connectivity. Alan mentioned earlier, and I mentioned I'm running on a Nuclias network here. When 12 weeks ago, when I first started working from home, I was fighting for bandwidth with the rest of the family. Now there's no problem with bandwidth. The other thing to think about though is data security. So I was running all D-Link, so all the data that I run for D-Link was running on our home network, along with the kids on YouTube and the kids doing what they're doing on the web. There could be an issue with security there. So if somebody inadvertently downloads, say, a Trojan, my business data could have been compromised at that point. So now by setting up a completely separate network using even a Nuclias access point, I've got a secure network for my work data. For remote working, a real good solution for deploying large workforces from home for a long period of time. Over to Mark, talk about bring your own device.
Things like bringing your own device has become more and more popular today, especially within modern business and education. And the main reason or the main driving factor of that is because it offers comfort of the user using their device. It also, within schools especially, leverages what I would say a love of their devices. People are more they're going to look after it a bit more. So if it's the school's iPad, they don't mind dropping it. However, if it's your iPad or relative other tablet as such, you're going to look after it a little bit more. But it also makes deploying technology a lot easier, because most or all devices now just connect to standard Wi-Fi, and things like the WPA3 encryption that we have on the Nuclias access points just ensures the connectivity out there and increases the protection that we offer to your customer or to the users. One of our case studies and what we've done so far with Nuclias, and this is one of the largest installations that we've been working on, but we've delivered over 1,300 access points and relevant switches in 67 different colleges or smaller schools within France. And this is a great way of the chain of schools or the academies as such being able to sort of link together all these Nuclias access points and link together their networks, because ultimately this is going to be managed from a single source. So this is going to be on somebody's Nuclias account, and these guys can see what happens within these different 67 sites and manage them and feed that down appropriately.
So as I mentioned earlier, the scalability of the solution, and and the different size of applications. So I've talked a number of times about I use the Nuclias access point at home. At the other end of that scale is this 1,300 access points in these schools in France. And we'll also, Mark, we're into multiple hundreds of access points deployed in schools here in the UK at the moment as well, aren't we?
Yes, we've got a couple of partners, or I say a couple, we've got a few partners that we're working on, a couple of our gold partners, and they've deployed various schools or various educational settings. They're finding the Nuclias platform very easy to use. They're finding that the Nuclias platform is very intuitive. One of my partners for one of my installations did comment. So the school was experiencing a couple of issues around lunchtime. So it enabled these guys to investigate what was going on the wireless network. And they discovered it was all the teachers during lunchtime between 12 and 1, that they were setting up all their iPads and downloading from things like Amazon Prime and Netflix. They were downloading video. So what they were able to do was to either throttle that access point back so it wouldn't be so intensive on the network, or the other option that they had was to install a second access point to help with some of the traffic requirements that were needed. And my partner found that a very, very intuitive tool, which usually would mean them going to site and running various diagnostics. No, the school called my partner logged into the Nuclias application, and they monitored it over a couple of days to see what was going on within that network, and it was very quickly identified what was going on within that.
I thought you were going to say it was the teachers logging on to Facebook in the lunchtime and breaks.
Well, it was a few people downloading stranger things, according to our friend Paul.
Okay, you mentioned partners. If you just want to talk us through some of the program benefits.
Yeah, so with the D-Link managed service, or the MSP program, as we say, what we are doing to help drive the Nuclias message is if you're interested in becoming an MSP partner, we want to hear from you, because what we are doing is offering you gold level or gold partner level discounts on all of our products, especially our Nuclias stuff, and we're helping with the licensing by giving additional licenses on additional discounts on the licenses out there. We're giving webinars on how to use the product, and we're quite happy to give demos to your customer on how the Nuclias product works. But also at the same time is we can do things like trial and product evaluation. So we're quite happy to give you a couple of pieces of equipment if you want to try and sort of explore the platform further. We're looking at things like lead generation, and we want to be able to give you, whether it be schools or businesses, we want to be able to give you these leads so you can engage and sort of push this solution towards your customers. All this is subject to a jointly agreed business plan. And what we mean by that is what we want to do is find the way that we're going to help drive this, and to help you drive this, whether that be through MDF, marketing funds, or whether that's pointing you in the right direction of training materials. We want to hear from you to see what we can do to build that.
Just jumping on the email templates and lead generation, that's we've seen a lot of success. So helping MSPs to be able to market our solution, to be able to find new leads out there. So that's been a real positive, and I think that's been a real success over the last probably more than 12 months. I'll just mention, so you said additional discounts on licenses, Mark. So I'll just mention the 3 years free license. So that's a promotion that we'll be running through Q2. Through Q3. So you already get a 1 year license with your hardware. So with this 3 year license, you've got 4 years licensing, so absolutely free. And I know that, Mark, a lot of your customers will then buy another 3 year license on top of that, so that there's that whole 7 year lifespan of the product is covered right from day one. One other promotion is the free Nuclias Connect Hub promotion. So buy any 4 access points, and as a MSP partner, you can claim a free Nuclias Connect Hub. So, Mark, I think you mentioned about the gold partner status. If you just want to,
yeah, with the or joining the D-Link MSP program, what we want to do is upgrade you guys to a gold partner, and you'll receive all the benefits that we would normally give you guys. That comes with an annual spend. So what we are aiming for is roughly about €45,000, and we want to build a business plan with you. But the gold partnership is a way that we give you guys access to training. So Craig and his pre-sales team will offer training towards you, whether that be on our switches or whether that be on the wireless aspect, or even Nuclias. We will give yourselves what we call the gold partner discount level at our distribution partners, so you can purchase our kit and retain some margin in there. But at the same time, we will help you out with the marketing side. We will help allocate funds towards you, and we'll quite happily build a plan towards what you want to do and how you want to spread your message out there. With the MDF funds that are available from us, what we want to do, or what we can do, is do, for example, PPC, and we can run campaigns within things like retail chains or things like hospitality, and especially with education. Ultimately, what we want to do is give yourselves enough scope, or enough, I would say, contact with a customer to help ensure that we can sort of build a solution around what they need.
Thank you, Mark. So just looking at changing purchase habits, I've mentioned a couple of times, Nuclias from D-Link is a subscription-based license model. Now, there is an initial purchase of the hardware. Then the platform itself, the Nuclias platform itself, is available on annual subscription. So it's an annual license, helping to create and maintain an ongoing relationship with your customers. Now, we're all familiar with subscription-based models. Automotive, most of us lease a vehicle. We don't buy a vehicle anymore. We tend to lease vehicles now. Also, thinking of pay TV and music. I very, very rarely watch TV. It's Netflix, it's Amazon Prime. So we're used to that model of that subscription model, and then with SaaS, PaaS, storage as a service, networking as a service. So those subscription-based models that we're all used to in our personal lives, more and more moving into our business lives as well. So just looking at that, moving to a subscription model, one of the outcomes of moving to a subscription model is the creation of long-lasting service relationships with your customers. Now that all starts with the concept of moving from a one-off purchase model to an ongoing subscription, maintaining that relationship with your customer, maintaining that that ongoing service with a customer. It also changes the nature of the purchase from a capital expenditure to an operating expense, so to a monthly or an annual OPEX rather than to a capital purchase. So the opportunity for you as an installer, one is a possibility of higher margins and a change in the competitive nature of the deal. So with Nuclias, you're not simply providing a piece of hardware, but you're providing an ongoing management platform and an ongoing management service. And that change from a capital expense to an operating expense could also change the procurement process, with no need to go to a tendering process. And again, that all results in shorter refresh cycles and long-lasting service relationships with your customers. Now, I again mentioned Nuclias subscription-based license model, and that there's an initial hardware purchase. So, the purchase of the access points, the purchase of the switch network. So we're just introducing here a service that's provided by Tech Data, one of our distribution partners. Tech as a service can transform that initial hardware purchase also into a subscription model as well. So something that's particularly important now, as companies get back to work after the lockdown, and cash flow could be a real problem. Cash flow could be real tight. So moving to a complete subscription model, breaking those payments down to easily manage monthly subscriptions, could be just what's needed to restart your business at the moment, or help your customers restart their businesses at the moment. So just an example of what tech as a service could look like. So I mentioned, it's quick and easy for customers to acquire hardware, software, using the Tech Data platform. You can add in, any install, carriage costs, anything like that. So combine hardware, service, software, everything that's going to meet your customers' needs. For the reseller, for the installer, tech as a service can improve margins and again create new revenue streams. And as I mentioned, creates customers for life, not via long-term sustainable relationships. Typical small school network there, 25 access points, 28 3-year licenses, 3 switches, installation and carriage gives you a total order value of just over £16,000. With tech as a service, that can be broken down to a payment of £400.83 per month over a 4-year period. At the end of that 4 years, there's a couple of options: either extend the service agreement, maybe choose an extension of between 3 and 12 months extension, or it could be about returning the equipment and refresh. So that's all available through Tech Data and through their tech as a service. So I'd just like to thank you for your time for listening. Thank you for listening to us explain the benefits of Nuclias, and again, thank you, Mark, for his insights. Before Alan just runs through any questions that we might have, again, just wanted to just run over some of the highlights. So, Nuclias from D-Link, as I said, it's an easy-to-use, scalable platform for managing your customers' network, so you can manage it from anywhere at any time. Suitable for all applications. So, we've talked about home use, residential use, small business, retail, SMBs. Mark talked us through that case study of the schools. Lots and lots of access points, lots and lots of users. Real simple remote setup means that you as an installer, you set the equipment up at your site, send that equipment into a customer's site. They simply plug it in. Once you can see it on the network, you're up and running. You can manage it. Then we just covered tech as a service from Tech Data. That can be a real help in financing the project. Again, could be very, very important as as we all get back to work over the next few weeks and as we start to build the economy again. And final one from dealing of a very wide range of products, of access points, of switching across that Nuclias range, whether it's Nuclias Cloud, Nuclias Connect, or the Nuclias Connect Hub. So, Alan, do you have any questions?
Hi, Paul. Yeah, we've got one question in from Roger, and I'm sure you'll like it because it involves D-Link spending money. So the question from Roger is basically to do with the business plan. So he's just asking, does it need to be War and Peace, or can it just be a simple document that we can work on together? And then just a quick follow up on the MDF side of it. So he's basically asking, would he be free to spend the money where he saw fit? Well, obviously with our agreement on that as well. So good question there on that.
Yeah, really good. So thank you for that, Roger. So on the plan, I'll be honest, I'd rather not have War and Peace. I'd much rather have a document that we've worked on together. So that's, with D-Link, so your account manager at D-Link and yourself, work on a plan of how you can grow your business with Nuclias from D-Link. So what activities, so there could be marketing activities, could be lead generation activities, training events. We've run all and many of all of those, and an agreed spend level. So I'm always, the team will tell you, I'm always looking at what's the return of investment. So a plan that we can agree on together that are on specific activities drive a specific amount of revenue. Now, in many cases, works out, and we hit those revenue numbers. In some cases, if we're not hitting those revenue numbers, a plan is always there to be adjusted, and always there to be driven between the two of us. So a plan's not a one-term thing. Plan is that plan to follow, to manage, to work on. So I would much rather have a one-page document that's been agreed by customer and D-Link, our account manager at our side, on activities to help grow that business. You mentioned about spend, Alan, as well. So spend wherever. Again, we look at our experience in the channel as well as the the customer's experience, and build a plan build a plan of activities that are going to make sense to those individual partners as well, because all our partners, and we're really lucky to have a broad range of partners. They've all got their individual experience in their areas and with their customers. So in a lot of cases, we need to take the steer from the partner as well as to where that spend needs to be. I would like to just reiterate some of the promotions that we're running, and I think these would be really interesting to partners. So the 3-year license is one incentive that we're currently running, and then that free Nuclias Connect Hub. So purchase four Nuclias Connect access points, and you can receive a free Nuclias Connect Hub. So real interesting promotions, and again, I think very suitable in today's marketplace to get business moving again.
Yeah, and anybody who doesn't know, I'm sure you all do know, but the Nuclias Hub allows you to manage those access points without the need for a computer. So it's a very flexible product, and can be just a standalone unit, just dedicated to your Nuclias network. So save your laptop, which you can save for other more pressing work issues and bits and bobs like that. So yeah, I think that's good on the marketing plans, Paul. I think we need to be fluid. What we don't want is 20 applications from people all to do PPC if they've never done PPC before. Whereas if they're a company that's worked a lot with schools and they've done seminars in the past where maybe they've invited schools along and they've been successful, then that's all there. But we don't expect every single marketing activity we do to work, but we have to prioritize those that do work over those that don't. So we'll pretty much entertain anything and give it a try. So So yes, I think that's good.
Good.
Okay, so I think that's it from Paul and Mark for the day. We're just about on our time, so it's perfect on the 45-minute mark there. So good job there, guys. Just to let you all know, the contact details are up on the screen. So if you want any more details on the free year license, if you want any more details on the free hub, if you want any more details on the MSP program, or absolutely anything that you've heard here today, you've got the telephone number 0208 955 9000, or just drop us a line at uki-sales@dlink.com. We'll be back in a week or two. Craig will be back with us as we move on to talk about 5G next week, another very exciting area that D-Link are going to get into. So all that's left for me to say is goodbye for everyone, and look forward to seeing you again. Thanks for your time.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.